The following is a Podbeard production.
EST 2016. This is interviews, music reviews, opinions, and more. This is The Hotter Show.
What is up, everybody? We are Rolling Audio here today on episode 268 of The Hotter Show. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks so very much for tuning in and clicking that play button on today's episode of the podcast. We got a really fun episode for you here today, as I try to do every single week right here on The Hotter Show on Podbeard Network. We're getting to chat with my man Kyle from Harmonic, Dissection, and Kohlit. And man, we have a lot of fun. This dude literally was doing this like on location chatting with me because he is a busy cat, but he made time for his boy to get to have a little chat ski. They were literally doing a photo shoot. Kohlit was, and he took the time to have a chat with me kind of in between takes. So there's a couple times where there's an abrupt break and then we kind of jump back into things. So just as a little explanation, that was why. Because he had to go be a rock star and get photos taken. So that was a lot of fun. Kyle, my man, again, I appreciate you taking the time, dude, to do that. His time management is very impressive. I make a joke about it during the episode, the fact that I would be like a ball of anxiety if I was doing a photo shoot and doing an interview at the same time. Whew, I couldn't even imagine. That dude's like freaking Superman, I swear. But we have a lot of fun talking about what's going on with his two main projects, Harmonic, Dissection, and Kohlit. The brand new single that Kohlit actually just dropped, which you also get to hear in full about halfway through the episode. And that brand new single, Prescience. There I go again, not being able to pronounce shit. That's a good time. But it's a badass tune. I hope that you guys enjoy it. It literally was just dropped last week. So if you haven't heard it, you are in for a treat. Definitely a badass tune. Then, of course, we talk a little bit about how COVID has affected him and kind of what he's been doing, as well as just a fun chat about kind of some of the early days of his music career, being in bands in general, the brotherhood of the scene, just really good, feel-good, fun topics. Always a great time chatting with Kyle. So we're going to jump into that in just a second here. I, of course, want to give one more shout-out to everybody who tuned in to last week's episode of the show, the fun but unorthodox Saturday Nights All Right for a live cast. That was a lot of fun, so I want to thank everybody for tuning into that. I always do that whenever I do live casts. I'm always like, man, I got to do these more often. And then I never do. But this was a really last-minute fun thing I decided to do. And maybe I got to do those more often. I don't know. But if you didn't check it out, you can go back. It's now live on the Anchor and YouTube and all that. Go ahead and check it out. It was a lot of fun. I was pretty hyped up on coffee during it. So I was pretty goofy. And just being a real goofball. So that's always a fun time when I get to kind of let loose and just hang out with my family, the Hotter Show family. Speaking of family, of course, before we jump into the episode, we're going to hear a little bit about how much I love Mean Beard and the Mean Beard family. But on that note, really quick, as you guys are hearing this today on Thursday, if you are listening to it on Thursday, if not, then just keep this in mind as well. If you are listening to this first thing Thursday morning when it drops, be sure to check out the Mean Beard Instagram page a little later on today, because I'm going to be going live on the Mean Beard Instagram with Mean Beard managing partner Joe Loving, just to kind of hang out, have a little chat. I'm going to talk to Joe about a couple things. And then, of course, we're going to, interact with some of the Mean Beard community, maybe answer a couple questions, maybe make a fart joke or two, and then we'll be out of there. So it should be a lot of fun. I am very much looking forward to it. It wouldn't be as sweet to make a fart joke or two. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe something you might see us do, every once in a while. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But either way, it should be a lot of fun. Joe's, I love hanging with Joe, doing anything. So should be a lot of fun. Go check that out. Be sure to enjoy this episode. We're going to hear about how much I love Mean Beard and then jump into my chat with Kyle from Harmonic, Dissection, and Kohlit. Let's get into it. Hey man, is your beard dry? Got some major itch going on, or maybe you are a sufferer from the dreaded beard dandruff. If this sounds like you, I've got the solution. Make your beard the meanest it's ever been with Mean Beard. Mean Beard is an exceptional beard care line offering the world's meanest beard oil, beard balm, both of which come in 5 different scents. They also offer a one-of-a-kind beard enhancer, Mean Whip. Their products are specially formulated with the richest natural carry oils and the finest ingredients to help you grow a glorious, healthy, and full mean beard. Proudly made in Ohio, USA for the meanest beardsmen. Now, I personally have used these products for over 3 years, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that they are amazing, and it has truly helped my beard so much. Not to mention that the people responsible for this company and behind this company are freaking amazing human beings. Can't say enough great things about them. Check out their beard care products, combs, and swag on the web at meanbeardco.com. That's mean, M-E-A-N, beard, B-E-A-R-D, co.com. When you go on there and check out, be sure to use my code MB15TJH. That's all uppercase MB15TJH. And you'll save 15% off your order. 15%. What are you waiting for? Go on there right now, and while you're at it, be sure to check out Mean Beard on Instagram, as well as join Mean Beard's community on Facebook. And always remember, folks, it's not just the beard, it's the attitude. All right, guys, we got my man Kyle on the line here from Harmonic, Dissection, and Kohlit. Kyle, what's up, brother? How are you?
Not much, man. I'm pretty good. How are you doing, TJ?
Oh, I'm just a box of fluffy ducks, man. It's good to talk to you again. The last time we got to exchange pleasantries, I was half in the bag, and so were you and the boys. So it's good to get to chat with you again. What do you got going on here today? We were talking just before I hit record, and I figured, let's just save it. So what's going on right now?
I'm literally in the middle of a photo shoot while I'm talking to you right now.
It's a busy man. Busy
very
man.
busy.
But I appreciate you taking the time. I was I had some time to fill here today. I wanted something for this week, and I'm like, let's see who's around. Then you and I were already chatting, and I'm like, oh, Kyle, what's up, brother? And it just worked out. So, but you've got a lot going on. Obviously, Kohlit just dropped a brand new single literally last week as as this is dropping. So obviously I want to hear about that. Harmonic Dissection is getting ready to release a new single. Not for a little while yet as you guys are hearing this, but we can definitely chat about that. Let's talk about kind of the more recent stuff before we kind of dive back in here to kind of some of the some other stuff here. So with Kohlit, what's going on with the brand new single you guys just dropped last week?
Well, Kohlit's been a band for quite a while, and just now we're finally getting music down and out, and this new single, Prescience, is like a start to some bigger stuff we're getting at. And like right now, I said I'm in the middle of a photo shoot for the band while I'm doing this interview. It's pretty interesting, actually, but you know how things work.
Oh, for sure. And again, I appreciate you doing this because I know you're literally talking to people as you're going, like, I got like 5 minutes to
yeah.
So.
But I'm here. So the single Prescience was released last Friday, and we've already been accepted into a few playlists, as well as today actually we were the Artist of the Day on Red Vixen Media, which always debuts local bands in the scene and stuff like that. We're working away here diligently, and we got to keep the ball rolling in these times, right? Like everyone's kind of in this kind of funk with all the shows and everything being closed. So we're really trying to push some music to, at least maybe make somebody's day a little better. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. It's so important right now with everything going on. A lot of people are really turning to the arts and to music, especially aggressive music. I think that's safe to say that. So a lot of people are sitting around and they're pissed off. They're not able to go to shows and everything. So channeling that anger sometimes is it's so important. Obviously
it gives you energy, right?
Exactly. And that's it. I mean, seriously, earlier today, I was kind of feeling a little funky. I was like, oh, man, kind of dragging my ass. And I threw the new single on, man, and I was like, whoo. I felt better. And what I would love to do for everybody is actually play that track in a little bit here for everybody. Once we kind of have a little bit more of a chat, if you're down with that, I'd love to share it with the world here.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Awesome. So you guys can look forward to that. So obviously, like you mentioned, you guys are literally in the middle of doing a photo shoot right now.
Yeah.
So what else has the band got planned right now? Kohlit, is there anything else you can talk about what you guys are working on?
Yeah, a little bit. I could share some information. We might have another single on the way, but that's about it.
Okay. So keep an eye for that, folks. That's exciting. That's exciting stuff right
Hell
there.
yeah. Wow, this is cool. I'm kind of walking through this junkyard thing.
So where is the photo shoot? It's like literally you're like at a junkyard somewhere? Or
we're on like 6 different locations today. And we're kind of in the middle right now. I'm hopping over a board. All right. We're about to move to the next.
This is exclusive stuff here, folks. You're not gonna hear this on any other podcast.
Footage in the scene. Yes, sir.
That's fantastic. Well, that's awesome. Can't wait to hear that single when it comes out. Be sure to keep your eyes. Where can the good people find Kohlit if they want to check you guys out on the social media?
You can look up Kohlit everywhere pretty much, but our Facebook page is facebook.com/Kohlit.metal. And on Instagram, you can find us at Kohlit.metal. And you just have to type in the single or the band name on Spotify and we'll come up.
Badass. I'll be sure to have all the links for that down below too, folks, if you want to check that out. Switching focus a little bit here. Obviously, Harmonic Dissection, when the last time I spoke with you, that was kind of the focus.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting ready to drop, obviously, let me try that again. I cannot say the damn word.
Antithesis.
Holy crap. Antithesis. Holy. Antithesis. Yeah, I did it. Holy cow. That was like the big running joke. I can't pronounce anything. But obviously, you guys dropped that track earlier this year. You guys are getting ready to drop.
Before everything happened, right?
Before the world literally shut down and during
good times. Before times. So long ago.
Yeah, it feels like it was a lifetime ago for sure. Even the last time we spoke, it feels like it was like a lifetime ago, and it wasn't.
I know, right? Crazy, dude, how things can just change. But all I have to say to anyone out there is just keep on trekking, because eventually this will all blow over and hopefully things will reach at least the new normal.
Exactly, whatever that looks like. On that note, kind of what have you been doing? What's your life looked like during the quarantine times here?
Well, I've had consistent work, which I'm thankful for.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, you got to take care of your own, pay your bills and such. And things, after the first wave, things kind of opened up a bit, and I started seeing my friends again and jamming and stuff, and a little more regularly. I'm a little nervous about the second wave with work and travel and all this stuff, but hopefully everyone can stay safe. And, other than that, it's just music, sleep, music, eat, music. That's
it, man. You're a busy cat. I mean, I was gonna joke around in the intro about the fact that like you're also doing vocals for like a couple other projects too. It's not just Harmonic and Kohlit. But just to go back for a sec, with Harmonic Dissection, you guys are getting ready to drop a new single and a new EP. Obviously, we know November 14th, the new single's coming out. Talk a little bit about that.
The Shrieking Lamb. It will be dropping November 14th. We got a lot of good stuff coming with it. The song is basically a synopsis of the cult classic Silence of the Lambs. It's a really fun song. It's a really upbeat song, and we're really happy to get it out. Another one of those songs that brings the energy to uplift people. And then the EP after that, Creative Destruction. Well, I guess that song is included in it, but we're kind of doing a very interesting thing. We're coming out with a few singles at a time, and we're trying to spread it evenly.
Definitely, a lot of bands have been doing that lately. The single thing,
instead
of dropping
like a
full
culture.
record. Yeah,
that's what I've heard the term single culture. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, especially for heavier music. Like you don't see it as much, but I think the days of bands dropping new material every like 3 or 4 years sometimes is just, I think that
it all
culture's
depends on
over.
the band.
Yeah. I mean, some bands can get away with it, but.
Like, you, as a band, you want to put out a CD, you want to put out an EP, you want to put out like a good heavy hitter list of tracks, right? But modern times, streaming services, all that kind of stuff really put a fork in money making for artists and stuff, right? Because nobody's really going out, especially right now with everything closed down, going out buying CDs and stuff, right? So now there's all these streaming platforms and stuff like that for artists to get their music out. But there's different ways you can do it, right? You could put out individual songs and have people looking at that one song, or you can throw out a whole list and maybe people look at half of that if they're interested.
Exactly. They hear the single and they go, "Oh, okay, cool. I like this. What else do they got?" And instead of people just digest things differently now, especially right now. Like
that's exactly it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but also not having anything else to follow up with sometimes, I think can be there's nothing worse than when I love a band and I check it out and there's nothing else, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, I definitely agree. It's good to have a little bunch of songs,
Well, it's all about building your discography, right?
Definitely so.
It takes a long time to get. It depends on your band, I guess, and your sound and what you're trying to do, or if your band members all function well together. There's a lot of factors that go into it, right? But for instance, Harmonic has only been an entity for 5 years. We have a demo out, we have a single and an EP coming. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work that went into getting to the level we are right now. Mm-hmm. And Kohlit has been playing local shows throughout Durham and Toronto for a few years, and only now is the first single coming out. You know what I mean? It all depends on how you take, the approach you take, right?
Definitely. Some bands, they'll want to drop something right away. I see it all the time where they just, we got to get something out. And I understand that mentality, but at the same time, if you drop something right, what I also see all the time, man, it happens all the time when I interview bands, I'll ask about their earlier stuff and they're like, "Oh, that stuff sucks. We don't talk about it." And I'm like, well, so it's almost better to wait sometimes. I can respect that, where it's like, let's kind of like sit and kind of figure things out a little bit and then release music.
Well, yeah, you want to build something, right? Mm-hmm. It takes quite a while to get a substantial cloud of things, you type in a band name into Google, let's say, there'll be so many different links from so many things. So it's building their network, right? Some people have stronger assets than others, obviously, people with ins on the industry and such which, but really you just got to be genuine and honest and honorable and spread a good message, right?
That's it. And also the kind of being a brother, so to speak, too, that's something that I've seen. It's funny, actually, last week's episode of the show, a couple weeks ago, actually, now, I spoke with Ryan and Grim from Please Stand By.
Boys.
Yes, and it's funny because you came up because, you and the boys came up because there's this awesome brotherhood in the metal community, kind of in this area, like in the GTA kind of Durham area, and it's just so funny where I see it all the time. We're like, oh yeah, those are our boys. It's like, oh, those are our boys. Yeah, I like those guys too. Yeah, they're good guys. It's like, oh, it's so cool to see, and everyone supports everyone,
Yeah, well, that's what you got to do, right? You got to lift each other up in the scene. And big shout out to Please Stand By. I literally saw them 15 minutes ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ran into each other. It's funny, eh?
That's funny. Such a small world. That was definitely a lot of fun to chat with them. But so on top of the fact that you're, literally walking the photo shoots and releasing music with those guys, on top of that, you also do work on some other projects. Talk a little bit about, I believe it's Treble 8, I think is the...
It's pronounced Treble 08.
Treble 08, okay.
Yeah, I did a few singles with Treble 08 over the past year. They've been gaining a lot of traction. He's actually doing stuff with some decently named people. He just released a new one actually called Two Dreams. from one of the members of Animus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty badass song. I would recommend anyone checking that out. The tracks I was on was Thief for Hire, Kingdom Animalia, and Sinister Thoughts. And Thief for Hire especially gained a lot of traction.
Yeah, that's a badass tune, man. I love that song.
Oh, sweet, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's definitely a badass song. What, like, I'm curious because you're someone who definitely has that work ethic, and I get the feeling that you're very much kind of always in that go mentality. What do you think kind of drove you to get to this point as far as kind of having that mentality and having all these different projects?
Well, anybody who strives for music and stuff, they're looking for something, right? And for a lot of people, it's a band. So when you're growing up, you try and start a band with your friends. And, I was in and out of bands throughout my youth for a while, and then a whole bunch of situations happened where I met like really terrible people, and I started gaining this knowledge of like who to work with, who not to work with, and such which. And then I realized that if I really want to do something, like I have to do it. You know what I mean? Like there's people who want things or say they want things, right? Mm-hmm. I think we touched a bit about that on the last interview, but I just decided that one wasn't really enough for me. This is my dream, right? I'm going to make it happen as best as I can in the maybe 80 years I've got on this plane. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got to take advantage of it. You can't be, on your deathbed looking back going, man, I wish that I had done this, or I wish I had done that. Like, it's so important, especially at a time like this, to just go for whatever you want, right?
Just
so
give her, bud.
Yeah. Just give her.
Give her.
That's it. That's it. That's what it's all about, man.
That's it, buddy. And any advice I'd give for anyone, time management. That is a huge aspect. Balance and time management.
I mean, literally look at you right now. You're on location at a photo shoot talking to my dumb ass. Like, it's just like, I don't think I'd have like I would be like a ball of anxiety if I was like, okay, and I got to do this. And then I'm over here talking to TJ. And then, you need me for photos? Okay, shit, I got to go.
Well, I don't know. Like, after our first interview where we were all belligerently drunk, I don't think I have anything to be ashamed about.
It was so much fun. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had. But yeah, like looking back on that, it's like, we can't do any worse than that, really. Like,
but, it was wholesome. It was a wholesome good time. Yeah.
It was so much fun. But I still remember just my one friend who always listens to my show, him up, and he's like, that was fun. But as far as like an interview, he's like, that was one of the worst you've ever done. Like, he's like, you were not. And I was like, dude, I was half in the bag. What do you want? Like, he's like, you know how I knew you were like almost totally gone by the end. I'm like, why? Is this because he's like, I could tell you were like dozing off. I was like, I wasn't dozing off. He's like, I know you. He's like, you just go really quiet.
Like, we were talking for a while, right?
Yeah, we were talking for like well over an hour, so it's funny how that works out. Oh, for sure, man, definitely.
But, it was exactly how you described it, right? Just hanging with the boys.
Yeah, just me on the one end of the line, you guys on the other end of the line, and we're just hanging out, having some drinks.
With Daryl's adapter rig.
Yes.
And electrical tape.
You guys just throwing. What were they doing, the two of them? They were throwing shit at each other, and like, I can't.
No, so Daryl has this thing about guitar picks, right? He is always chewing on a guitar pick, and he developed this special ability where he can flick you with it at a velocity that makes you bleed. Quite interesting. So he got Dave right in the nose and gave him a nosebleed.
That's what it was.
In the middle of our interview.
I remember. That's what it was now. That jogged my memory. The second you said guitar pick, I was like, oh yeah, he freaking flicked it out of it. He's like, yeah, I got a nosebleed. I was like, oh man. That was my introduction to the world of your guys' world. That was a good time, man, for sure.
Well, we're a band. We're serious about our music, but we like to have fun.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, during that chat, what was so funny about it was the second we started really talking about the demo and about the single, you guys like completely kind of almost like turned a corner. and we're like super serious about it and talking about it.
Yeah.
It's
I was trying to keep it together.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You were really, really good. It was your boy there just like going off, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I can't stress enough how much fun it was, just to be very clear. But
wouldn't change it, not one thing.
Oh, for sure. But I know that you're in the middle of doing stuff here, so we'll move on. But obviously, I want to ask, because we did touch on it a little bit on the last time we chatted, but again, just for the sake of kind of getting to know you personally a little bit more in a more coherent situation, what kind of got you started with music? What was some of the first music that you ever heard?
Linkin Park, Cannibal Corpse, Job for a Cowboy, Lamb of God. And that just brought me into a world of a lot.
What a foursome. Holy crap.
Yeah. Some heavy hitters there. Rest in peace, Chester, obviously.
Oh, definitely, man.
That's why I'm also in a Lamb of God cover band.
I was just about to say, yeah. What was I saw a video the other night you put up. What song? Oh, I think it was you guys doing. Was it you guys doing Redneck, or am I thinking of?
It might have been Ruin, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason it was whatever song it was. I don't remember now, but I was.
Oh no! Farm Fest video. That's what it was.
Yes.
So we actually got an RV and traveled all the way to where was that place? It was somewhere between Ottawa and Montreal. Van Cleek Hill, thank you. Van Cleek. And there was a 3-day metal festival there. We played with Beyond Creation and Obey the Brave. It was wild.
Shit.
Yeah, our Lamb of God cover band. So we're all driving up there. We're all plastered the whole entire time in this RV. Like 10 people crammed into an RV.
Holy
So the band's called the Sheep of Lucifer, so obviously the RV was called the Sheep Pen.
That's fantastic. The Sheep Pen.
It was a great time. We all came back with sunburns. Like that video, yeah. No, you're right. That video was Redneck. That was we opened up the whole day. Actually, a great moment of that before we even started playing our set. A buddy of mine from A Scar from the Wicked came up on stage with a bunch of his friends from Held in Secret from Ottawa, and we all started singing Fuck Her Gently by Tenacious D. To open the whole entire day up. It was great. And then boom, right into 512, I think it was, our opening song.
Oh man, that
great
is
time.
fantastic. That is awesome. Oh my gosh, I wish I could hear that.
Buddy.
That would be fantastic. So what's your opinion on as a Lamb of God guy, I gotta ask this. What is your opinion on them introducing clean vocals into their repertoire? How do you feel about that?
In Lamb of God?
Yeah.
Honestly, it fits. Like,
definitely. Yeah.
If you dive into it a bit, I read something that Randy was practicing forever to do the Overlord vocals. That song is a masterpiece. I love that song.
Hell yeah.
A lot of people sometimes like to look down on really awesome heavy vocalists because they start introducing clean vocals. But honestly, for me, it's another chip in your repertoire. You know what I mean? Why would you shame someone for expanding, right?
That's it, man. I mean, the song that really, really got me into Lamb of God was actually King Me. I know it's different kind of, it was spoken word vocals, but that record is what really got me into Lamb of God. And when I heard King Me, I mean, I was like, what the hell is this? And then obviously from there I went down the rabbit hole and Walk With Me in Hell and Ruin. And but
the Sacrament, New American Gospel, Palaces.
Yeah,
Ashes of the Wake, front to back masterpiece, man.
I was such a punk back in high school when that stuff came out, man. I was like, oh, it doesn't take any talent to do this. If I could go back, I'd smack myself in the head and be like, enjoy it because you're gonna love it in 10 years.
Yeah, I feel something like that sometimes about some of the things I've said as a stupid kid.
Oh,
but you grow up, you live and you learn, and sometimes you learn clean vocals.
Exactly. I mean, literally, Whitechapel did that last year with the Valley.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit! This is again.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming personally.
Yeah, I didn't either. That was cool. When they dropped that record and specifically Hickory Creek, I was like, oh, I did whole song. I'm like, this is. Yeah. And then they dropped their acoustic version of it earlier this year. I was like, Holy crap. My first introduction to them was like the Saws, the Lawn shit. And I'm like,
oh,
yo, like,
yeah,
this
man. I love that song.
Yeah.
See, I'm more about
yeah.
the old school Whitechapel myself.
Oh, for sure. It's all good. But yeah, like considering that was my first introduction and then like our Endless War in that. And then to hear, I skipped over the Mark of the Blade a little bit. And then
that title track is so nasty.
Yeah. Oh, it's great stuff. Like now that I went back and checked it out, but going from Our Endless War to The Valley, it's like, like what the hell happened? Like it's hearing him talk about how it's all based on a true story of his life and stuff. It's like, holy shit, man. It's heavy stuff and it's an outlet form, you know. That's the cool thing about heavy music. Okay, so before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to play you guys the brand new single, Prescience, that Kohlit just dropped. So crank it up right now. This is Prescience. All homes have signs of life, and well, they aren't always as pretty as you think. The hallway walls still show the scuff marks from that time you were absolutely convinced that that bed frame would fit. The trim of the bathroom stained from that time your favorite feline just had to get a better look at your new nail color. And then, of course, there's the spot in the kitchen from that dreaded pasta sauce incident a couple years back. And, well, you get the picture. Make your house feel new again with a fresh coat of paint from Kohlit Painting. Offering expert interior and exterior painting, no residential job is too big or too small. Proudly serving Quinte, Ontario, and surrounding areas, Kohlit Painting will restore your house back into a home. And they also do work on new additions or new builds. Contact them today at Kohlit Painting on Facebook, or you can contact them at 613-929-7085. 613-929-7085 for a quote today. And be sure to let them know that Hodder sent you. Alright guys, that was Prescience by Kohlit. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Comment, what a badass track that is. Holy cow. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It features one of the hardest phrasing I have ever written for myself in the heavy groovy part that drops into the middle of the song.
Yeah.
It's quite it's a beautiful lead up in my opinion, you know what I mean? It kind of gets your head nodding right off the bat, and then it drops into the verses just elegantly, and then hits you really hard with the moshiest part, right?
Definitely, and that's what I loved about it. Like, it's like, and it's cool too, because in the sense of like with your style, I mean, there's no denying it's you. You have a very distinctive style and voice, but it's still different. Like, it's not like, oh, this is like a similar to Harmonic Dissection or whatever. It's like it's like yes, it's been a band just as long, and if not longer, but it's almost more like in the realm of almost like kind of straight up more traditional death metal, I guess. Kind of. It's
I could see that. Like, I would say I do approach Kohlit with a different style, but I also have quite a dynamic range, which allows me to apply to whatever song I'm working on, right?
Exactly. Yeah, like the way you pitch. That's what I thought was cool too. It's like even like the way that you pitch certain phrasings is really interesting. I always dug that about your style, where it's like you're not just I made a joke a couple weeks ago when I spoke with the guys in Please Stand By about like one trick pony vocalists who just they do one thing really well. They'll have their kind of their go-to phrasing. You know, and I think there's not related to like the heavy metal stuff, but like looking at like almost like David Draymond from Disturbed. You know, you know what I mean?
Like, you know, it's their style and stuff.
Exactly.
And, everybody has their own unique way of doing things, and a lot of those, like, we'll just call them one tone styles, are very, very well done in regards to the music. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, like, I automatically think to Born of Osiris. Like, back in the day, Born of Osiris was like more heavy, and now it's really techy, and there's a lot of other elements in it. Mm-hmm. But back then, the vocals were primarily a lower tone, and now it kind of sits in the mid-range realm in the new, I guess, evolutionary plateau of what Born of Osiris is now. It's actually quite interesting to listen to.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't agree more. Like, it's fun to watch that progression happen too with bands.
Yeah, but like I in that like example, I always thought it was interesting that it went from low vocals to more mids and highs and even a bit of singing, right? Mm-hmm. Traditionally, you would think that the lows over time would be more defined, right? But then all these bands like, what would you call them, Volumes and Currents and those kinds of bands came out with the primarily mid-range vocals, and it started a whole new wave. And some of that music is actually very beautifully done.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, mind you, I'm primarily a death metal vocalist, so I really like the really heavy punch-you-in-the-face stuff, but I do appreciate beautiful music, you know?
Definitely. You can be a vocalist of that style and still appreciate some nice clean singing.
Of course.
There's definitely nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. Just like we were saying earlier about the Lamb of God cleans and the Whitechapel cleans. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, that's what really caught my attention with Lamb of God was kind of more of the, I mean, again, it was more the spoken word, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
But that was something that it really sets them apart for me when I hear that. And I go, okay, cool. There's a little more dynamics going on here.
Yeah. Like me personally, I'm more favorable to older Lamb of God because, like I said, I grew up listening to them, right?
Of course.
So the Sheep of Lucifer, we generally play the classics, like all the hits off all the albums. We have to play Black Label every single time. It's freaking Black Label.
You have to. And probably Laid to Rest, I would assume too. That's probably one.
Well, we kind of tend to leave out Laid to Rest. It's a very overly covered song.
Yeah,
even outside of cover bands, right?
Definitely, but I think you mentioned that you guys do like 512.
Yeah, well,
that's cool.
We learned that specifically for the Farm Fest at Van Cleek, and we busted that out, and it was really popular, right? And so we opened up with that, but we haven't really played it since. The tuning's different from a lot of the classics that we play.
Okay.
So, we actually played a COVID era show a few weeks ago at the Rock Pile in Toronto. And it was when we started throwing 512 into the mix, we noticed that, now we have to add either a guitar change or we have to tune. And we like our shows to kind of flow together. So we choose the songs that are like in corresponding tuning, or you know what I mean? Like something just a step lower, something easy to tune, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of having to do a full guitar change and do a full step down change. Yeah, I got you.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely makes sense, man. That's really cool. But jumping back for a second here, obviously we were talking a little bit about Kohlit, and I'm curious, just diving into that a little bit more. Talk to me about the single. What exactly is the story behind that?
Well, prescience in itself is a question. It's basically asking what would happen if our technological evolution attracted a more advanced race of beings. Would they come to Earth? Would they harvest the planet? Could we beat them? You know what I mean? As humans, we like to think that our strong will and perseverance can, overcome anything, but we're talking about aliens here, you know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen, right? And the way technology's going and expanding, we're diving more into our galaxy and exploring and learning more about the Earth. Who knows what's going to happen in the next century, right? And then you could also take the meaning of prescience to the origins of the band. So Kohlit, before it was even Kohlit, it was founded by two members, the two Tylers of the band, Tyler Burt and Tyler Leslie Smith. And at the time, Tyler Leslie was in Alberta and Tyler Burt was in Ontario. But they're great friends and they always wanted to make music together. So over like countless hours and countless emails, sending tracks back and forth, Prescience in its first makings was born. And they just knew that they had to make music, make a band, you know what I mean? Just knew it, right? And prescience is like a knowing of something to come.
Okay. That's cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
That's badass, man. And what's cool is like, and you're someone who, I mean, it's like the big running joke with us that like I could never pronounce your your song names. It's cool because you're that kind of a lyricist where like you really put a lot of thought into what you're doing. It's not just like, this song's called Skeletons in My Closet. Like I'm looking around my room. I'm looking around my desk, and I'm
easy
like,
"Easy there, Eminem."
Yeah. Well, that was a stretch. You know how I just did that. By the way, I have a thing on my desk here. Clint Lowry's "Hello Demons Meet Skeletons" like vinyl thing. And it's sitting right here. Then I looked and there's a closet, and I'm like, "Skeletons Closet." Anyway.
Just piecing the song name together.
Yes. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
no, I like. I heard somewhere that it's always good in your art to try and think and do you. You know what I mean? Like, be you, be original, and try not like you. Obviously, artists take inspiration from other artists, but do you want to be them? You can never be them. They're them, right? You want to be yourself. And I put a lot of thought into every bit of work, whether it's on the field, me being a tradesman, or with my music, right? That's also another thing that gives me the ability to kind of do different styles. You know what I mean? Like, I can come up with a set of ideas for one and then totally flip the switch and come up with a different set of ideas for the other. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's like you're not just, okay, like, you know, and that's the cool thing about having different projects. You can, so like, do you have like a situation where you'll think of like a line or something and it's like, okay, this could be a cool song, but not for Harmonic Dissection. Like, oh, maybe it could be a cool song for Kohlit or vice versa. Yep.
It's a great thing too. Like, I'm very lucky to have the people around me that I do, with the music we're making, and because I've noticed actually Kohlit is one of the only bands that have written riffs with me in mind as the vocalist, right? It's that was quite a breath of fresh air, I'll say. Well, you think like most vocalists, they're like, okay, here's the song, write to it. You know what I mean?
I got you. Whereas they're kind of going, okay, where would his voice fit in this sonic kind of creation? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that just goes into the camaraderie and brotherhood that comes with our metal scene.
Definitely. Like, they're thinking about, okay, what, because like, as much as there's a lot of vocalists out there who like to, and some of my favorite vocalists of all time, they always say, I can't create until I have a foundation.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have that relationship with whoever writes your music, if you're just the vocalist, where they go, okay, I think you would fit well with this style of a riff. You can kind of do your thing here, and that's definitely a cool way to write for sure.
Yeah, it is. Like with Harmonic, we kind of do different writing styles. Like, one day we'll start with the drums, the other day I'll pitch a vocal line and we'll write to it, stuff like that. And then with Kohlit, it's like a different situation altogether. It's everybody pitches ideas and everybody's thought about in other people's ideas. It's quite interesting.
Definitely so. And you can really tell too with the dynamics of how, even just hearing one song with Prescience at this point, like, you can hear that dynamic where there was a lot of thought put into what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, you know, hey, here's a song, we slapped some vocals on it, here you go. You know, like, there's a lot more going on. Yeah. There's a lot more kind of technicality going on there.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people can become excited about one thing and then totally flounder on the other parts of it, right?
Yeah.
You want to come up with something, but then maybe take a step back and see the bigger picture, right? Of what it is, what it could be, what it was before, what you can make it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's like, okay, hey, this is a great riff, but in its current form, does it work with the vocals?
Yeah,
vice versa. Hey, I got this great vocal line, check it out, or this great phrasing, check it out. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but does it work with the music?
Exactly.
Or, hey, I know you want to do blast beats the whole song, dude, but like, does that, you know, does it really work here, you know?
Yeah.
Do we need a 20-minute bass solo? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean, man? We need blast beats 24/7, every song, front to back. We're naming the album Blast Beat.
I will never forget when I was a young lad in my first quote-unquote band. I use that term very lightly. And my friend who basically we taught how to play bass, because we didn't. Yeah, were you ever in that situation? Where, like, you've been in bands for a while, where, like, you literally couldn't find a bass player so badly that you had to just pull one of your friends and train them how to play bass? Did you ever deal with that?
Never got that far, but I did. I did have, like, what I would call a 3-piece escapade in 2019. And people just kept wanting the band to come out and play. And we're always like, well, it's just the guitarist, vocalist, and drummer right now. And they're like, we don't care. You guys are awesome. So we kept going out and playing shows. We got like 6 shows under our belt, 3-piece escapade. It was pretty awesome. But during that time,
bass, you know.
well, obviously, there was a few shows we actually rented out a second cab so we could string the guitarist's cabs so you could have music on the left and right side of the stage. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that kind of filled out some of the space. But during that time, man, like the band is a 5-piece band. And during that time, it was so hard to find the right players, right? We went through a bunch of auditions. But as he said, like, the bass was probably one of the hardest to fill. And now, the band I'm talking about is Harmonic, by the way. Now we have a wicked bass player, Mr. Jesse, and he's also a nasty vocalist himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so a little bit of harmonic dissection happening, maybe. Or I guess harmonies dissect. I don't know. There's a joke somewhere there. I'm trying to make it. I couldn't quite connect, but whatever. It's close enough. But what I was gonna say about the whole bass thing is, like, I can remember when, speaking about, you know, stuff that makes sense in the song, where we were quote unquote writing a song, quote unquote, because again, I use that term very loosely. And he goes, hey, what about, because we were trying to figure out the bridge, right?
Yeah.
So his bright idea was, what if I do a bass solo? And I said, well, you can't really play bass. Like, he was just root notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could barely play. I mean, he was better
just
than me,
enough
but,
to keep the song going.
Just what are you playing? Okay, I'm gonna just rock that. Just hit that E minor, bro. That's it. That's it. And like, he's like, well, yeah, dude, that's it. Seriously, that's it. Just keep the rhythm. That's it. Follow the bass drum, bro. That's it. And like, I remember this dude looking at me like, well, no, it'll be great. So I'm like, all right, go for it. And then, you know, he records like a 10-minute bong, bong, boo, doo, doo, bong, bong. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are you doing? Like, sometimes it doesn't need, like, you gotta keep everyone happy, I guess. That's kind of the fine tuning of things, where it's like everyone needs to be happy with the song. Yeah. Everyone wants their voice heard, but sometimes you can't have a 20-minute bass solo. You know what I mean?
Well, if the song's only supposed to be 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like playing. I'm like, dude, like, the song's supposed to be like 3-4 minute song. He's like, oh. But anyway, completely off topic. But I thought that made me think of that. That was funny. But that's cool though that you guys kind of finally with Harmonic, you have that full lineup now.
Oh yeah,
that's badass. How hyped are you to start playing shows again?
Well, like I mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The first COVID era show I played this year with the Sheep of Lucifer, and it was quite an experience. Like, I had to kind of like shake myself and get used to it, because you know, it's the metal scene. They're used to bodies flying, mosh pits. Yeah. And the last show that we actually played, the Sheep of Lucifer, was at the Diesel Room in Oshawa, and we flipped that venue upside down by the end of it. And then the next show we play, circa 8 months later, it's just like everyone's sitting and clapping. You know, there's a bunch of friends and stuff, and everyone's having a good time, but it's just kind of surreal. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you're at a poetry slam or something, and everyone's snapping their fingers. And
I'm picturing your ass now at like a poetry slam, just reading off cleanly reading off like your lyrics. Just everyone's snapping their fingers. Yeah,
I know, right? Like,
I need to see that in my lifetime. Now.
It was quite an experience. But we actually got to play 2 sets that night with a break in between, which was pretty interesting. And when we shook off we haven't played in 8 months and got on, and after the first set where we're kind of like, well, this is what it is, we loosened up a bit, and you know, it was just good to be on a great stage again, like the Rock Pile. I love playing that place.
For sure, man. It's a badass venue, and it's so interesting that you know, you guys have had that experience now. What do you think is things are going to look like? Like, do you think like a lot of people are talking about how like, you know, live stream shows are going to be like the next big thing, and like how that's kind of going to be the quote unquote new normal? But then there's people that are doing drive-in shows. There's bands that don't care and they're just doing regular venue shows. What do you think kind of things are going to look like?
Well, I think that right now is a time for a lot of bands to be doing a lot of writing and building, you know what I mean, really forming a structure. But shows-wise, it's hard to say because you can limit as much as you want, and like you could be as safe as you want and adhere to the rules, but it takes that one guy to sneeze to, you know what I mean, cause something, right? It's very hard to say. Right now, I'm estimating 2023
for kind of things to get back to normal.
Yeah, but we'll see. That's a loose estimation. Like, till then, everyone's going to be doing their social distancing thing, and the venues that are open, or the, you know, live music places, if you will, they have all these precautions. Like, you have to take your temperature at the door, and there's like a plastic screening in front of the stage, and you know what I mean? You got to be seated the whole time, and it's going to be like this for a while, right? Like, it's an adjustment period, but eventually we got to hope and just work together to get back to how it was before. But I think there might be some benefits out of this darkness. Like, people might inherently become more clean, you know?
Yeah, I've seen it for sure. So
who knows, right? Who knows what could happen, but I don't expect us to be out of the woods yet. And it's, as far as live streams go, it's a great idea, and it is helping a lot of bands, you know, keep the money flowing, because a lot of people, they rely on this industry. Entertainment industry in itself, not just music, that are taking huge hits right now. A lot of people are suffering. So these live streams are helping a lot of people, like crew workers, roadies, all that stuff, right? But the thing is, part of being an artist is playing to that audience, and you almost crave it in a sense, right? The roar, the feeling. For me, it's one of the only times that my head's completely clear and I can just let go. You know what I mean?
It's that
so
release,
you watch exactly the outlet, right?
Yes.
Everybody needs an outlet, whether it's work or a hobby. You know, mine's music. And I take it to an extreme extent, I'd say, with how much I put myself through. But yeah, so like, I've seen a few of these live streams. The Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake, the live stream was excellent. But you know what I mean? You can just tell that it's almost like a piece of the soul is missing. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's hard to have to really think about all these people that are suffering because of this. But again, it's all about how we're going forward and how the government reacts to this as well.
Definitely. That's like a whole other thing. That there's so much. I've been trying to kind of stay away from that lately because there's just so much bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm working in an industry now that is directly like, people are like, this shouldn't be happening, and I'm kind of like, well, I need a job, so so it's hard, man. But at the end of the day, everyone needs to we all got to stick together no matter what, and we'll be okay.
That's it. Huge shout out to the frontline workers.
Yes, big time shout out to everyone, because it's you know, if y'all weren't there, I don't know,
things would be a lot worse.
Damn right,
things would be a lot worse without you guys.
For sure.
Freaking love you guys, man.
Yeah. Y'all are freaking heroes, bro.
Awesome, man.
That's great. Well, just getting ready to wrap it up here. I appreciate the hell out of the time, man. It's always great talking with you. Kind of a staple question.
Yeah,
kind of a staple question I always ask people here to end this off. You've touched on a couple different shows, but do you have like an all-time favorite? This was my favorite moment on stage, or a favorite show?
I would say the time I played with Rivers of Nil with Harmonic Dissection. We opened up for Rivers of Nil, Infery, and Alter Beast.
Wow.
And it was a wild show. A few of our friends were on that show. It was great. It was there was this one moment where we played Antithesis, and there's a part in Antithesis where the music just stops and it gives you the illusion that the song's over, and then we punch back in. But that moment, everybody starts cheering because they think the song's over. But then we drop in again, and everyone just starts going wild, and
they lose their
minds. I can't describe it. It's the feeling. It's the lights in your face. Everyone cheering, and boom, slam them again. That so far would have to be my favorite memory.
That's badass, man. Very much so. It's that reaction and stuff. I've heard people tell me it's like a drug. Like you can't buy it. You can't get it from anyone. It's just something you have to experience in this. That's the only place to experience it.
And one day we'll get there again, everyone.
Damn right. That's it, man. What a fantastic way to end off your comment, man. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. This was a lot of fun to get into chat with you again here.
No problem, TJ. Anytime, bro.
All right, brother. You take care of yourself.
You too. Ciao.
All right, gang, there you have it. My chat with Kyle from Harmonic, Dissection, and Kohlit. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. It was definitely a lot of fun. Really great energy. Kyle kills it, man. He always brings that energy, and he's a busy cat, and got a lot of respect for the hustle of that man, for sure. And Kyle, again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your literally crazy schedule to do that with me as you're like walking around a scrapyard taking band pics and stuff like that. And also shout-outs to his band and the photographer for being cool with that as well, because I'm sure there was some times where they were waiting for him while he was talking to my dumbass. So either way, I appreciate it. Be sure to go check out their upcoming, and then they got upcoming, as he kind of teased a little bit, they got some stuff going on. So be sure to go check them out on the social media. You guys heard the single. Go download it wherever you get your music. Go buy it, whatever. Go check it out. And as well as be sure to keep an eye on Harmonic Dissection's social medias and their Spotify and streaming services and all that for their brand new single coming out, The Shrieking Lamb. That's going to be fantastic. And then, of course, the EP, Creative Destruction, coming out sometime after that. I will definitely be doing some kind of a showcase on that. Maybe we'll have Kyle on again to talk about it if the schedules can line up. But if not, you can be rest assured I will be discussing it here on the show. Doing a little bit of a showcase. Always a lot of fun getting to chat about the metal. But either way, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so very much. It means the world to me. Audio fist bump. Boom. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Before I go, I, of course, want to give a humongous shout out to my Patreon supporters, my hardheads, for helping keep this show on the road here and keep things rolling. As well as I want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors of the Hotter Show, Jay Bridges Larch, for everything that they do. Mean Beard for keeping my beard fantastically soft and feeling great. And of course, Kale Riddick Painter for being out there doing the Lord's work, keeping people's houses looking great and their exterior of their houses looking great and all that fun stuff. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to you again for listening. Thank you so very much. I'm going to sign off here today, and I'll catch you next time on the Hotter Show. Take it easy, guys. But I'm going to sign off here today. Do not forget, next week, the Hotter Show Halloween special is here. I have put a lot of work into this. I didn't know if it was going to happen. Didn't know if it was going to work. But it was a little stressful there for a few minutes, as I was not sure if I was going to be able to pull this off. It was a pretty big project for me, getting to have a couple different people involved. But, man, it was a lot of fun. Big shouts to everyone who was involved in it and helped out with that. You guys are going to love it. Be sure to tune into that next week, the Halloween special. And I'll talk to you next time on The Hotter Show. Take it easy, guys.